S. Pierce for American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.WeBelieve.com. How are you? Are you good? Are you good for this 9th of August? Yeah, man. Is it the 9th already? Where did the year go? I'm wondering. Where did it go? Here President Trump was inaugurated January 20th, and this is already August 9th. Come on. A little bit of coffee there. Anyway. Yep. It's one of those days, folks. One of those days. And I got to tell you, the facts are just that. The facts. There's no way of getting around them. There's no way to disguise them. It's the facts. All right? And that's just the way it is. Now, the question that I have for all my listeners is this. If you have a ton of evidence, I'm kind of exaggerating there, but if you had evidence to prove something correct, you have a theory. That theory, you start looking into it, you start finding certain things that make that thought that you have of something being, there and you don't quite know what it is, but you then find evidence that, yes, you knew that this was correct, and here's the evidence. When you have all the evidence in front of you, when you examine everything for what it is, not for what somebody else told you it should be or what somebody else told you it is, but you find out yourself that you are correct in your assumptions and your theories, and there it is in front of you. And let me break it down for you. 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple. You have all the evidence in front of you. There it is, and it's right there. There's no question about that. What do you do to disseminate that truth, that fact, to someone else? Or to a group of people? You just go out and tell them and say, well, here's what I know and here's what I have to back it up. That's the simplest way of doing things, right? Al Gore's follow-up to Inconvenient Truth bombed. I'm talking atomically, it just went, it bombed. Excuse me, it bombed. I saw Inconvenient Truth when it came out. I didn't go to the theater. I saw it on DVD. And that was the worst hour and a half. I can't get that back now. In the opening 20 minutes, when I watched it, I was into it like 20, 25 minutes, and I realized it was all propaganda. It was all bullcrap. It was just absolute bullcrap. Later on, like a year or so later, some of the scientists that were in there literally had to retract some of the statements they made, or just they refused to even acknowledge what they said there. It's a bunch of bullcrap. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, please don't waste an hour and a half of your life watching this piece of crap. But if you want to analyze it and do all that, that's fine. Okay. Oh my God. Fox News is reporting on the 9th of August, 2017. Scientists call out New York Times for incorrect claim about climate report. New York Times caught reporting fake news to smear Trump again. Scientists appear to have debunked the New York Times claim it was leaked a secret, gloomy climate change report, which it published amid fears President Trump would suppress it. Excuse me. On Monday, the New York Times published a story saying there are concerns that the Trump administration could suppress what's known as the National Climate Assessment, a project of the U.S. Global Change Research Program. The story titled, quote, "Scientists Fear Trump Will Dismiss Blunt Climate Report," unquote, said the draft report, quote, "has not yet been made public," unquote, but, quote, "a copy of it was obtained by the New York Times," unquote. There's a video in this article. I guess it's a portion of the discussion or whatever. I'm just going to let you see that. Assess it on your own. Draw your own conclusions. I'm not here to twist your arm to make you believe what I believe because, that's just not me. So, let me blow you all out of the water with some simplicity here, and that is climate change, global warming, blah, 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 blah. That's all the typical propaganda put out there about all of this is literally propaganda. That's what it is. It's literally propaganda. No question about it. There's no question at all, none whatsoever. Well, I shouldn't say question. No, I'll rephrase this. There's no doubt in my mind that what we see coming out of the federal government pertaining to climate change is nothing but propaganda. Okay? Let me also say this. Let me throw some more reality onto your table there. Climate change, all of that, it's called weather. It's been happening for hundreds of thousands of years, folks. It goes in cycles. If you talk to credible scientists from MIT or whatever, even your local community college, they'll tell you the same thing. It's weather. This whole, global warming, climate change, bullcrap. No, it's propaganda. They're using that as a fear tactic through the process of propaganda to make you throw money into their organizations. That's all it is. And every single scientist from high school to university will tell you it's just weather. It's been happening for years. Okay? So, but are we affecting the weather? No, we're not. We also have this thing called geoengineering. Hello, have you heard of chemtrails? Dun, dun, dun. There you go. It's manufactured propaganda to instill fear within you to make you pull out your wallets and give to the cause. That's all it is. That's all it is, folks. But like I said, I can't get that hour and a half back after watching Inconvenient Truth. Holy crap. The Daily Caller, Richard Pollack over there, is reporting poisonous atmosphere, that's in quotes, grips McMaster's National Security Council as accusations fly. Finger-pointing erupted within the National Security Council following a major leak to the Washington Post of telephone transcripts between President Donald Trump and the leaders of Mexico and Australia, the Daily Caller News Foundation's investigative group has learned. And as the U.S. inches closer to war with North Korea, the White House body charged with discussing and coordinating U.S. policy is engulfed in what one administration official called a quote-unquote poisonous environment. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast. McMaster's has to go. I'll just leave it there. He has to go, period. Okay. He's a globalist. They've already got evidence that he briefed Soros on what was going on. And Soros is planning on taking out President Trump. And Soros is planning on destroying the United States of America. So, all in all, in this whole McMaster's thing, the bottom line is he has to go. He has to go. That's on American Liberty Radio podcast. We live in a country where 325 million people, I'm just going to say 300 plus million people live in the United States of America. We don't have free health care. A lot of other countries do. Canada, you got to stand in line. You got doctors coming over here to make, money. Over there, you don't make much. You got places like India that have completely free health care, and everybody's taken care of. But people come over here to make money. You see what I'm saying? Why is the U.S. so geared, and I'm going to say this as a blanket statement in the healthcare field, why is everybody so geared to making a profit? Because the hospitals have to stay open. And let me just also say this. The insurance companies have to go because, who's going to get covered, blah, 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 all this, Why is everybody so geared to making a profit? Well, how's the hospital going to stay open? Go look at what India's doing. Go look at what Canada's doing. We've taken bits and pieces of various concepts from around the world in the last 200 years, and we've engaged in pulling out those things that are bad, putting in, developing things that are good, and putting in things that we think we would need. And, we've done this. We did that with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. It's a mishmash of a whole lot of ideas. Okay. And it worked for 240 years. Well, actually worked up until from 1791 to 1871. It worked for, that long period of time. But we need to take all the good things and put them into, we need to use them. We need to apply them. We need to make it happen. Can the United States of America, with 300 plus million people, have free health care for everybody? Yeah, we can. There's no doubt about it. We can. Yeah, but our taxes will go up like 80%. I'm going to ask you something, and it's just it's just a curiosity question based upon, just some information. If you had to pay, I don't know I don't know if you're a business, I don't know if you're an individual, I don't know. How much in taxes are you paying in the United States of America just for working? And what you're going to work, you're coming home, you're doing it. Every year you have to pay taxes. How much are you paying? You got homeowners, if you're a homeowner, you got, property taxes, when in fact all that is rent to the federal government because the land should be yours, not theirs. You've got, your personal income tax. There's a double taxation because you're paying property tax on top of that, which is illegal, by the way. So you have all these, you've got, you go to the store, you got to pay taxes there, all this, that, and the other thing, right? So you've got the excise tax, you got all these taxes, right? What would you do if taxes went up from this particular point right here on 9th of August, 2017? What would you do if taxes went up to 35%? Well, let me just go one up. What if taxes went up to 50%? And the federal government said, because we're doing that, we're going to abolish all insurance companies and we're going to give you health care for 100% free. Nothing comes out of your pocket. You'll be able to just go to the hospital, go to the doctor, whatever. It won't cost you a thing. Would you sign on to that? Would you vote for that? Would it be possible? From my estimation, from what I've seen so far, in other countries such as Canada and India and the UK and places like that, I found out, I just watched, how all of that worked. And there would be long lines. There would be, you couldn't see a doctor for several months because everybody's getting health care for free and all this. Well, okay, like I talked about, the concepts of other things. You pull out what is bad. You make things work, Everybody would be covered, but everybody would want health care. In other words, oh my God, I feel sick, I'm going to go to the hospital. You're going to have lines up the wazoo. Okay, how do you remedy that situation? That's where people smarter than me come into play and make it work. As far as I'm concerned, we are the most industrial nation in the world, aside from China and Russia. And we can give everybody free health care, and everything would be efficient and effective if we were to sit down, look at everything and say, here's where we're having a problem. Let's see if we can fix that. And then look at something else and say, well, that's doing okay, so let's keep that. If we sat down and negotiated in that way, things would work. But you know how all 300 plus million people get health care? We close the damn border. We tell other countries, we've had enough of your people. We can't afford them anymore. We're not going to accept any more illegal aliens into this country. We're not going to accept anybody who wants to legally immigrate to the U.S. We can't do it anymore. We just can't. Give us about 10 to 15 to 20 years. Maybe we'll renegotiate your immigration policies. But right now, we're closing the freaking borders because these people need to be taken care of. Now, what does that say about the illegals that are here? What does that say about those that are here on visa who have applied to become citizens? What about that? Well, if that's a burden on the healthcare system, we cut the burden off. We send them home, the illegal immigrants. We just send them, just leave. We don't care anymore. Just leave. We can't afford you, go away. The ones that are on visa, that are working here and all that, great, fantastic, we'll work something out for you. The ones that have applied for citizenship, great, fantastic, let's see what we can do for you. But it's going to take a long time to go through all the logistics to help to help 300 plus million people. But we have to close the border. We have to cut off and abolish all wasteful programs out of Washington, D.C. We have to. There is no other way. We have to do that. The first thing we need to do is look at Congress and say, do we really need 535 congressmen and women here? No, we don't. Here's a solution for you. 150 people. That's it. Governor and a Republican and a Democrat. That's all we need. If you want to go with the party line or party lines, depending if that's what you want to do. That's all we need. 3 representatives from all states. That's it. That's all. And they should meet at least 3 times a year. And if they can't get anything done, well, don't rehire them. Okay? I mean, it's just simple. If they're not going to get anything done and do the thing for the people and serve the people in a way that's going to help the people, don't vote for them again. Okay? That's if you want to stay on party line. The real thing that we need to do is repeal the Act of 1871 and get rid of Washington, D.C. altogether and allow the states to grow within their own systems and go from there. Because literally, folks, all 50 states, or 51 if you're looking at the Puerto Rican territory, Puerto Rico, all 50 states can handle themselves. All 50 states have all 3 branches of government. And they're all separate countries on this continent we call North America. Did you know that? They're all the country of California, the country of Nevada. Seriously, did you know that? When you look at the basic principles and basic setup of what's going on. I mean, seriously. So we don't need a centralized government. We don't need Washington, D.C. We don't. Now, how does that relate to healthcare? Each state draws upon its own resources to provide the services to the people that need it. Is that simple or what? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's just, I don't know. Merkel orders Trump calm down as North Korea crisis peaks over Guam threat. Germany currently safe from Kim's nukes. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? And I think you've heard this before, but I'll talk about this a little bit here before the break. 9th of August, 2017, Breitbart. Former Google employee, quote, there are efforts to demote anything non-PC from search results, unquote. Google was thrown into turmoil last night after the company fired James Damore, author of the manifesto defending viewpoint diversity and a fact-based approach to the alleged gender gap in tech. Yeah, because there seems to be a gender gap there in the technology industry. In exclusive interviews with Breitbart News, more Google employees are now speaking out in support of the manifesto. Damore's 10-page manifesto, which was met by an immediate backlash, described a climate of fear in which employees who challenge prevailing leftist narratives at the company are faced with immediate threats to their career. Damore's own experience appears to confirm this. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Facts are facts, folks. Facts are facts. I honestly, and I want to say this, and I don't, I'll just say it. When you have a company that is as prevalent and as global as Google, and they say, "Oh yeah, everything's fine. We're doing, whatever. It's fine. Nothing to see here. Move along now." When you have a company like that, and someone comes out and has their free speech suppressed or gets retaliated against, I like to use that retaliation word, when they're fired for their free speech, that's when you know you have a problem, not only in the United States of America, but with a company like Google. If companies across the board would allow everyone to have free speech and not suppress them, those companies would succeed tenfold within a matter of time. Because we have common sense and we know what to say, what not to say, how to say it, where to say it, in what environment to say. We know what we're saying. We know how we're, conducting ourselves. We know how to do that. I worked for a company in Reno that I could not even talk to my coworker. No, our free speech was suppressed to that point. I could not talk to my coworker while I was working. Because we had downtime, we had lulls in, activity and everything. So, people talk to one another. No, we couldn't do that. And because we worked for that particular company, we couldn't go out and talk about the company itself because of all the rules and regulations. You have to talk, if you were to ever talk about the company outside of work, you'd have to be positive and not talk about the negative and all this and all that. That's bullcrap. When I clock in to my job, I do not give up my right to free speech, period. The ACLJ has sued many, many different people for that specific thing, that the companies were suppressing the rights of the people to, to speak freely. In other words, the companies were suppressing their protected right of free speech. The ACLJ sued these companies, and these companies are going, "Oh, crap." Because the lawyers of those companies are going, "Yeah, we don't want anybody talking about this business at all." I didn't sign a disclosure agreement. I'm not going to sit there in a company and not talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. The facts are out there, folks. Every single company in America, depending on where you work and what region it is in, depending upon the company you work for and the region it's in the United States of America, companies are suppressing your freedom of speech that is protected by the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States. Every single business is like that. Like I said, depending on the region, depending on the business. Every single business does not want you to talk to your coworker at all, ever. Oh, they don't give a crap if you talk to them outside of, the job. But yeah. Folks, I'm going to go to break. I got to go. I got to go to break. I got people to promote. They're expecting it, so. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'll be back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is for the people, by the people. No shady backroom deals here. We expose the truth, no matter who it leads to. We are an independent media who holds no one above the truth and have no alliances and no agenda. We offer our shows absolutely free because the truth will set you free, and we believe it should be free. However, we do ask that you donate, and we also offer subscriptions to help support our work and keep LNM on the air. We are not mainstream media that is owned and controlled by the New World Order. We are not alternative media that has been infiltrated with paid agents in wild fantasy. No. We are a free-thinking, free-speaking, tell it like it is, independent media that just happens to cover everything but not fall for anything. The best guests, the best information, late night in the Midlands, independent media exposing the truth, one show at a time.
The History of America Abridged.
Excuse me?
That's right. The History of America Abridged. Nova Center for the Performing Arts presents The History of America Abridged. Who really discovered America? Why did Abe Lincoln free the slaves? How many Democrats does it take to screw in a light bulb?
What?
Nova Center for the Performing Arts will answer those questions and more.
I hope so.
They will. May I continue?
Yes.
That's The History of America Abridged, presented by Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information about dates and times and tickets, contact Nova Center for the Performing Arts on their website at www.novabillings.org. American Liberty Radio Network. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Check out Late Night in the Midlands with your host Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The leaders are faced with possible annihilation from their enemies. The United States is at the brink of a total collapse. This is the reality we live in. What can be done? The truth. The facts. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Yes, if you have any questions, concerns, you want to tell me to piss off, hey, go ahead, American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. My goodness, man. During that break, I had a sneezing attack. Holy crap. Oh, my God. Wow. Yeah, hopefully I sound better because, my nose was just... did not like me this morning for some reason. But anyway. Louder with Crowder, 9th of August 2017, is reporting, "Dear leftist feminists crying over a memo. You are reinforcing female stereotypes. You are pathetic." Louder with Crowder. I believe that's louderwithcrowder.com. "Dear shrill women who claim to champion women's rights but who actually set women back." An engineer wrote a memo at Google explaining that men and women are different. He suggested that rather than treating individuals based on their group, tribalism, they should be treated as individuals. Silly me for thinking that's kind of what we as human beings and individuals always wanted. I don't want to be associated with feminist cry harpies who bitch, whine, and moan whenever they don't get their way. They cry about the patriarchy and blame men for all their failings. But that's just me, is what the writer here at Louder with Crowder writes about. James Damore also said that, yes, men and women are different. We've written about this story 3 times already. I don't want to get too much into it. This is what the writer at louderwithcrowder.com has written. Knowing insidious twits like you would bother to read it. Won't bother to read it, sorry. Why read a memo for yourself and draw your own conclusions when you can react hysterically instead? For weak-minded women such as yourselves, the virtue is in the frailty. You believe you're great champions of being weak and parade said weakness so other weaklings might tell you how brave you are. I'm going to stop right there because it goes on. I just had to look at the length of the article. So I want you guys to read that, probably better than I can, and draw your own conclusions. Assess it and draw your own conclusions. Let me tell you something right now. Gloria Steinem, if you remember that name from many years ago. Gloria Steinem was the first woman, or one of the first groups of women, to push for equality for women. Let me tell you feminists something out there, and by the way, men can be feminists. So let me tell you, all you feminists out there, let me just direct this next statement at you. You guys are pathetic. You are touting equality when in fact you are destroying your own movement by committing to engaging in things that are going to destroy your narrative. What? In other words, let me just spell it out simply for you. You're yelling and screaming about, basically, figuratively speaking, metaphorically speaking, shooting yourself in your own foot, and in the meantime, you're shooting yourself in your own foot. You're like, yeah, if we do this and it fails, we've shot ourselves in the foot. Well, you're shooting yourself in the foot, metaphorically speaking. I don't see, honestly, I don't see where you even have a foundation of facts to base your movement on, when common sense should tell you, yeah, men and women are different. Seriously, look at the scientific evidence, look at all of that, and then realize, yeah, men and women are different. And then look at your jobs. Let me ask you, women out there, you strong, just vibrant, beautiful women who think that, yes, I am like a man and I can go and do this. And let me ask you a question. Can you seriously go do what a man does? Hell, I know women who are welders. I know women who are truck drivers. I know women who are, teachers, stay-at-home moms. I know women who, we obviously see women playing sports. So you feminists out there on the female persuasion, let me ask you a question. Can you go weld? Can you go drive a truck? Can you go and do the things that men can do in general? Not, but just in general. Can you do that? And let me tell all you moms out there who are feminists, you guys have a thankless job being a mother. You guys are the backbones of society, you mothers out there. So drop your damn labels of feminism and just accept your role, not in a chauvinistic way as it sounds. I'm not portraying it as that. But what I'm saying is your job is to take care of your family. That is a thankless job most of the time. But the stronger you are in your family, the better your family is. So I don't think there's a man around who declares himself a feminist that can stay home and do the things you do. So when I say that men and women are different, definitely. But when I say that either way, switch the roles, I guarantee you a man cannot do what a mother does. A father cannot do what a mother does. There's no way. It's different. You guys take different approaches to it. You have different outcomes sometimes. Most of the time they're the same, but sometimes there's different outcomes. So women who declare themselves feminist, why don't you go to the cities that are building a huge, tall skyscraper and go up to the 89th floor and whip out your welder, your arc welder, or whatever you guys use, whatever you construction people use when you build a building. And you go up there, women, and you do that. Go ahead. I want to see you do that. Show me pictures. Take a selfie. I don't care. I want to see you guys do this. You tell me that you do this. I know women who weld. I know women that do this. So why should you? Well, you guys are the ones that are saying that, bitching about men not, understanding who you are. I mean, it goes deeper than that, of course, but this whole article, what I'm saying is, feminists, is that you're reinforcing your negative view of the female stereotype by doing what you do. And it's kind of, as the writer at Louder with Crowder says, you're pathetic. So, I know these women. I know strong women. I know women who take on the roles of doing what they have to do. Drive truck, drive cab, drive, I've seen women drive dump trucks before. I mean, come on, working on the roads. Go outside and ask somebody, go to work for a contractor that works on the roads. Go stand out. I've seen women hold signs that make, I don't know, $15, $18, $20 an hour, just standing out there with a sign directing traffic. I mean, go do that if you're a feminist. If you think that everything has to be equal. If you think that there should be diversity. How does everything become equal when you're diverse? It doesn't from my perspective, doesn't add up when you're looking at equality and all of that. Doesn't add up. Some Common Core math going on there that doesn't add up. So all in all, women, I love you. You're great. You mothers out there are strong women that just, you put up with so much. Thank you very much. Thank your mamas that raised you right. Oh, man, you guys rock. I'm serious. If it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't be as strong and as knowledgeable as I am about things. I mean, come on. I'm strong in spirit and knowledgeable about a great many things because she was a very educated woman. But women need to just stop for a minute and reassess what you're doing in this particular arena at this time on the 9th of August, 2017. What the hell are you thinking? I mean, seriously. I don't know. So tell me, American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Tell me what's on your mind. I want to know. I'm very curious as to why you would ever do the things you're doing within your movement, which in fact, in turn, is hurting your movement, with the things you're doing. Why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I want to know why. I'm kind of a little confused in that, okay? A couple of things I want to mention here before the close of the show. Michael Snyder at economiccollapseblog.com says, this is the closest that the U.S. has been to nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis. North Korea has successfully produced a miniaturized nuclear warhead that can fit inside its missiles. Are we on the verge of a nuclear war with North Korea? It has now been confirmed that North Korea has successfully created a miniaturized nuclear warhead, and last month they tested a missile that can reach at least half of the continental United States. I'm just going to leave that right there. I'm going to let you guys read the rest of that from that point forward. Draw your own conclusions on that, because, hey, this little fat bastard in North Korea, Kim Jong Cheeseburger, is just, he's a frickin' psychopath. But here's a problem. I'm going to say inherent, but I'm going to put kind of parentheses around that. Daily Caller is saying this as of the 9th of August, 2017. President Trump's spiritual mentor says, quote, God has given Trump authority to take out Kim Jong-un, unquote. Quote, God has endowed rulers full power to use whatever means necessary, including war, unquote. A well-known evangelical pastor and spiritual mentor for President Donald Trump asserted Tuesday that God won't mind if President wipes out North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un off the face of the earth. I'm just going to leave that right there and post that to American Liberty Radio podcast and let you draw your own conclusion on that as well. I'm giving you the information, folks. I'm giving you my opinion of the information. And I'm encouraging you guys to go look this up and draw your own conclusion on it. Because that's how learning works. That's how all of this works. This is, So, as we venture on into this Wednesday, is it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, the 9th of August, 2017. Let's remember a couple of things, shall we? Let's remember, let's remember that the United States of America was built upon the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security. Let's remember that because that's what America is. America is a free country liberated from the British in 1776, or starting in 1773, but signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So from 1776 to 1791, 15 years, we didn't have any type of, guide or, words to help us live or whatever, Then we had a constitution. We put that together. It was ratified and amended as well, but it was ratified on the 15th of December, 1791. And so now we have some rules. We have some laws that this is all man-made laws, by the way, but we have some laws that protect our natural rights to live, to protect ourselves, to commit ourselves to living a life. I mean, natural laws do that. They help us. But man-made laws protect our natural rights to live, to engage in commerce and all this, that, and the other thing. 1791, 15th of December. It's ratified by Congress at the time. It's great up until 1871 when President Ulysses S. Grant signed in the Organic Act of 1871 and decided, we're broke. The United States of America, after its Civil War and all these other wars that were happening after the independence from Britain, all these other wars were happening, battles here and there, and all that. And here it is, 1871. President Ulysses S. Grant signs this Act of 1871, basically handing everything back to the Brits, to the Queen, and basically that's what it was. And we took the capital, and this had been planned on for many, many years prior to 1871, but the capital of the United States went from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to this piece of land called Washington, D.C., Delaware and Virginia, this little piece of 10 square mile piece of land, which, of course, by the way, as a side note, that's the only land that Washington, D.C. should own and by law owns, period. They don't own the rest of this. They just created another department called the Bureau of Land Management and some other departments within that to acquire land elsewhere in the United States. And they're not supposed to do that. That's against the law, against constitutional law. They should not do that. So the BLM needs to be abolished immediately. Just abolish the Act of 1871 and get rid of Washington, D.C. completely, and we won't have a problem. But 10 square mile piece of land over there on the East Coast called Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, by the way. Why was it called that? Well, when you look at how it was all put together and where all that paperwork originated and was, basically signed and stored and created. And when you look at that, it wasn't even created in the United States of America. Washington, D.C. was not a creation of the people of the United States of America. It was created and developed and basically signed into existence in another country. Ooh. Yeah, go check that out. Just go do your Columbo-like research and figure that one out. You'll find out it has nothing to do with the United States of America. Washington, D.C. is a city-state within the United States of America. Much like the Vatican, Vatican City is within the Vatican and within Rome. That's a city-state. Much like the city of London in London, England, is a city-state. And those three entities control everything else in the world. The United States being military, the Vatican being spiritual, and London being economic. Those are the three things that are going on in this global society that we live in. And the United States of America has a target. And the crosshairs of the weapon of the globalists are zeroing in on that target. So think about that one for a minute, folks. Because as far as I'm concerned, if we, the people of the United States of America, don't stand up to the bullies, then we're done. We're toast. So, you guys tell me. You guys tell me how we're supposed to stop these people. When you consider that 80% of the law enforcement and about that many of the military will defy orders coming down from their, commanders. They will defy orders to go out and take guns from the American people. This is already out on record. You can go and look this stuff up. Just go to startpage.com. Law enforcement, military, defy orders, taking weapons from civilians, or however you want to put it, at startpage.com. Okay? Go look it up. The United States of America should be that united. Are we? No. We are the most divided country in the world. Go look at Russia. Go look at India. Go look at Pakistan. Go look at all these other countries. They're so, within their society, they're not as divided as the United States of America. We're divided economically, racially, spiritually, politically. It's a divide and conquer for the globalist in the United States of America. I said it before. We're the target. The globalists have the weapon. And in that weapon, we are in the crosshairs, and they're about ready to destroy us. That's the bottom line. And the big question is to everybody, I don't care who you are, don't even put a label on yourself because you're part of humanity, part of the society of the United States of America, and part of a group called humans. Doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are, what political affiliation you have, you're humans, and the peace, freedom, liberty, and security of the United States will benefit you just as much, but are you willing to get up and go do something about it? One of the greatest philosophers of the 20th century said something can be done about it when in regards to human nature, in regards to human behavior. I got to tell you, he's right. Something can be done about everything going on in our country right now, and we the people are the only ones, A, standing in our own way, and B, kind of frightened, kind of hemming and hawing, kind of apprehensive about doing anything because we don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't want to do that because I might lose my job. I don't want to do that because it might hurt. I don't want to do that because, that's my, Now who are the whiny pansy-ass bitches? Makes feminism look like, makes it look good, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. This is American Liberty Radio Network. American Liberty Radio.weebly.com. You can always email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Go to Spreaker.com, look up American Liberty Radio, and that's where I am too, as well as AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Folks, have a great day. I shall see you tomorrow. This is American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.